Hello, I'm Miss Igo. In this video, we're going to be talking about converting a base 10 number to another base. Let's start by converting this base 10 number, 2,153, to base 5. The first thing we want to do is divide by some power of the base that we're converting to. So let's see what the powers of 5 are. We want to be able to divide by the biggest power of 5. We're going to start with 5 to the 0 power, which would be 1. 5 to the 1 power is 5. 5 squared is 25. 5 to the 3rd power is 125. 5 to the 4th power, it doesn't look like a 4. 5 to the 4th power is 625. And then 5 to the 5th power is 3,125. Well, that's too big because the number that we're converting is 2,153, and 3,000 is bigger than 2,000, so it won't divide into that number. So we know that we can't use that number. So we're going to go with the 5 to the 4th power, which is 625. Now, whatever power of the number that we're dividing by, we're going to add 1 to that number, and that's how many digits will be in our answer. So since this is 5 to the 4th power, we know that our answer is going to have 5 digits in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so now what we do, the first step is to take the number that we're converting, 2,153, and we're going to divide it by 625, whatever the biggest power of the number that we're converting to, the biggest power that can divide into that number. All right, so I'm going to get my calculator out, and I'm going to take 2,153 and divide it by 625. So I get 3.4448. And whatever the whole number is, whatever is to the left of the decimal, that's going to be the first digit in my answer. Now I'm going to take my calculator, and don't clear your calculator. Just subtract the whole number. So I'm going to subtract 3. I'm left with the 0.4448. And so my next step is to multiply. Now I'm going to multiply by whatever base I'm converting to. I'm converting to base 5, so I'm going to multiply times 5. Okay, back to my calculator, times 5, and I get 2.224. 2.224. All right, once again, my whole number, or the number to the left of my decimal, is my next digit in my answer. Back to my calculator, I'm going to subtract that whole number, subtract 2. So now I have 0.224. All right, from now on, we're just going to be multiplying times 5, or whatever base we're converting to. So times 5 times 5 in my calculator, I get 1.12. This whole number, that's going to go as part of my answer, and in my calculator, I just subtract it, minus 1. Now I have 0.12. Once again, times 5. And I get 0.6. Even though this number is 0, this is one of my digits. Once I'm at this point, I take whatever's to the left of the decimal, and that goes as my next digit. So I can subtract 0, and I would still get 0.6. And then multiply that times 5 in my calculator, times 5, and I get 3. And so that is my last digit. Okay, so now this is my answer, 32103 in base 5. And so that converted my base 10 number to a base 5 number. Okay, let's try another one. We're going to convert the base 10 number 228 to base 2. So we need to figure out first what we should divide by, what power of 2 we should divide by. So I'm going to write out my powers of 2. 2 to the 0 power is 1. 2 to the 1 power is 2. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the 3rd power is 8. 2 to the 4th power is 16. 2 to the 5th power is 32. 2 to the 6th power is 64. 2 to the 7th power is 128. 2 to the 8th power is 256. Well, we're trying to divide 228. 256 is bigger than 228, so that's too big. So we're going to go with 2 to the 7th power, which is 128. So, like I said before, whatever power we're going to be dividing by, we need to add 1 to that power, and that will give us the number of digits in our answer. So since this is 2 to the 7th power, we know there are going to be 8 digits in our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we take our number that we're trying to convert, which is 228, and we're going to divide it by 128. All right, let me get my calculator out. I'm going to clear it. And I have 228 divided by 128. And I get 1.78125. 1.78125. All right, whatever's to the left of my decimal point, that's going to be my digit. So in my calculator, I'm going to subtract the 1, and I get the 0.78125. And now, from now on, we're going to be multiplying. So we multiply by whatever base we want to convert to. We're going to multiply times 2. In my calculator, I'd multiply times 2, and I get 1.5625. 1.5625. Okay, whatever's to the left of my decimal, that's my next digit. Subtract 1, so in my calculator, I'm going to subtract 1, and I get the 0.5625. Then I multiply times 2. Times 2. And I get 1.125. 1.125. All right, this 1 is my next digit. In my calculator, I'm going to subtract 1. So I have 0.125. Multiply that times 2. And I get 0.25. Okay, so 0.25. Well, 0 is my next digit. If I subtract 0, I still get 0.25. Multiply that times 2. Okay, times 2. And I get 0.5. Okay, so I get another 0 in my answer. If I subtract 0, I still get 0.5 times 2. Times 2. And I get 1. Okay, so now I have 1. There's nothing after my 1. There's no decimal or anything after my 1. This is my whole number, 1. So if I were to subtract 1 from that, I would have 0. Now, if I did not count to see how many digits needed to be in my answer, I would think I was done and I would think that's my answer. But because we know we have 8 digits in our answer, we have to fill in the rest of the blanks or the rest of the positions with zeros. So we need 2 more zeros in order to have 8 digits in our answer. So this is our base 10 number 228 converted to a base 2 number. We have 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, let's do one more. We're going to convert this base 10 number 63,201 to base 7. So let's determine what power of 7 can be divided into that number. I'm going to start with 7 to the 0 power is 1. 7 to the 1 power is 7. 7 squared is 49. 7 to the 3rd power is 343. 7 to the 4th power is 2,401. 7 to the 5th power is 16,807. 7 to the 6th power is 117,649. Well, that's too big. Our number is 63,201. So that's too big. So we're going to go with 7 to the 5th power, which is 16,807. This is 7 to the 5th power, so we know that our answer is going to have 6 digits in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits. And we start out by taking our number that we're converting, 63,201, and we're going to divide it by the biggest power of 7 that we can divide by, which is 7 to the 5th power, which is 16,807. Okay, so let me get my calculator out. I'm going to clear it, and I have the 63,201 divide by 16,807. Okay, so when I do that, look, my decimals go all the way to the end of my calculator, and it continues to go. That's not all of the decimals there. So it keeps on going past the end of my calculator. So I'm just going to write I'm going to write the first, I'm going to write the first 3 digits. So 7, 3.760. And then I'm going to put some ellipses after it. All right, so this is why I tell you not to clear out your calculator. If you clear out your calculator and you just round these numbers, in the other examples that we worked out, you may have been able to come out with the correct answer. But especially when you have a number like this, if you round, your answer is going to be incorrect. So I just want to subtract my whole number. I'm going to subtract my 3. Okay, so remember, whatever the whole number is, whatever's to the left of the decimal, that's the first digit in my answer. And I subtracted 3 from my calculator, so now I just have the 0.760, and then it continues. And I do just like I did before. I'm going to multiply times whatever base I'm converting to. So I'm going to multiply times 7. And I get 5.322, and it continues. Okay, so 5.322, and it continues. And so my next digit is a 5. And I'm going to subtract 5 from my calculator. So I have the 0.322 multiply times 7. and I get 2.259. All right, so my next digit is a 2. Okay, I'm going to write 0.259 times 7. And I have 1.816. Okay, so now I have the 1. I'm going to subtract 1 from my calculator. And that gives me the 0.816 times 7. And I get 5.714. All right, my next digit is a 5. Subtract that from my calculator. Multiply times 7. Of course, you know these continue. Okay, so multiply times 7 in my calculator. And look, I get a 5. If I had rounded, that would not have come out to be perfectly a 5. So my last digit here is a 5. I know there are no zeros at the end because I know that there are supposed to be 6 decimals or 6 digits in my answer, and I have 6 digits. So this is 63,201 in base 10 converted to a base 7 number. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to share it with your classmates. Also, if you would like to know how to convert some other base to a base 10 number, I will be posting the link to my video on how to do that in the description. Thank you for watching.